Football has lost one of its great builders. On April 7, 2026, Mircea Lucescu died at the age of 80, closing a life that had been devoted almost entirely to the game. He was not simply a successful coach and not simply a respected former player. He was something rarer than that. A football educator, a man who shaped teams, changed cultures, developed players, and left a mark in every country where he worked. In Romania, he was a national figure. In Turkey, he was a champion. In Ukraine, he became an institution. And across Europe, he earned the reputation of a strategist, a perfectionist, and a football mind whose influence stretched across generations. To tell the story of Mircea Lucescu is to tell the story of a man who spent decades proving that intelligence, discipline, and vision could outlast fashion, trends, and even time itself. Before he became the famous coach in the technical area, Mircea Lucescu was a gifted footballer on the pitch. He made his name as a winger with Dinamo București, one of the major clubs in Romanian football, and during his playing career he won 7 league titles there. He also became a regular for the national team, earning more than 60 caps and serving as Romania's captain at the 1970 FIFA World Cup. That matters, because Lucescu never approached coaching as someone who had only studied the game from the outside. He had lived it from within. He understood the rhythm of dressing rooms, the fear of big matches, the psychology of responsibility, and the burden carried by captains. Even as a player, people saw elegance, intelligence, and leadership in him. The foundations of the coach were already visible in the footballer. He read the game early, and later he would spend a lifetime teaching others how to read it too. The bridge between Lucescu the player and Lucescu the manager was built gradually, and it was built through responsibility. Late in his playing career, after his years at Dinamo, he spent time at Corvinul Hunedoara, and it was there that the next phase of his life truly began to emerge. He was not content to just play. He wanted to understand structure, training, tactics, and development. He wanted to know how a team could be improved, not only how a match could be won. Those who followed his career often described him as obsessive in the best sense of the word. Always studying, always adjusting, always thinking ahead. That hunger for knowledge would become his trademark. Lucescu was never just a motivator. He was a constructor. He liked systems, but he also liked creative players. He believed in order, but he was never afraid of imagination. That balance would define nearly every successful team he later built. His first great chapter as a coach came with the Romanian national team. In the early 1980s, still a young manager by international standards, Lucescu took charge of Romania and led the country to UEFA Euro 1984, the first European Championship finals appearance in Romanian history. That achievement was not just a qualification, it was a turning point. It announced him as a serious football thinker and gave Romanian football a new sense of direction. Lucescu's early national teamwork also helped establish his broader reputation as one of the figures who modernized Romanian football. He demanded professionalism, tactical understanding, and seriousness of purpose. Players did not simply play for him, they had to learn under him. That became one of the recurring themes of his life. Whether he was working with established stars or ambitious youngsters, he treated football as a school and the training ground as a classroom. From there, Lucescu moved into one of the most varied managerial journeys of the modern era. He won domestic titles in Romania with Dinamo București and R.I.P București, proving he could succeed not only with one project, but with different clubs, different players, and different expectations. He also took his ideas abroad, working in Italy with clubs such as Brescia and Inter Milan. Italy did not turn him into a celebrity in the same way that Ukraine eventually would, but it sharpened him. It exposed him to another football culture, one built on tactical detail, defensive structure, and relentless scrutiny. Lucescu was the kind of coach who absorbed experiences and repurposed them. Every country added something to him. He did not coach as a tourist passing through. He studied the environment, adapted to it, and then tried to leave it better than he found it. That is one reason his career never felt local. It was deeply Romanian but unmistakably European as well. Then came Turkey, and another decisive transformation in his story. At Galatasaray, Lucescu stepped into a club that had just experienced a golden period and was under enormous pressure to sustain success. He responded by winning the UEFA Super Cup in 2000 against Real Madrid, then leading Galatasaray to the Turkish league title in 2002. After that, he moved to Beşiktaş and won the Super League again in 2003. It was a remarkable sequence. Success with two fierce rivals achieved through authority, football intelligence, and the ability to command belief. Turkey broadened his image in the wider game. He was no longer just a respected Romanian coach with promise. He was a proven international winner. And he was doing it in an environment known for intensity, emotion, and constant pressure. Lucescu did not merely survive that pressure. He mastered it. He showed that his methods could travel, and more importantly, that they could win. Yet for all the clubs on his resume, the place most closely associated with Mircea Lucescu as a coach is Shakhtar Donetsk. He arrived in 2004, and over the next 12 years he built the most successful era in the club's history. Under Lucescu, Shakhtar won 8 Ukrainian league titles, multiple domestic cups, 7 Super Cups, and, most memorably, the 2009 UEFA Cup. That European triumph remains one of the crowning achievements of his career and one of the defining moments in Shakhtar's history. But the silverware alone does not fully explain his impact. Lucescu did not just collect trophies in Donetsk, he changed the scale of the club. He helped turn Shakhtar into a respected European name, capable of competing tactically and technically with major opponents. He gave the club identity, continuity, and ambition, and in doing so he became inseparable from its rise. What made Lucescu's Shakhtar so memorable was not only the winning, but the style. UEFA described his teams as technically strong, adaptable, and dangerous in transition, while Lucescu himself stressed discipline and physical fitness. He also became known for his work with young players, especially Brazilian talents, helping shape a generation of footballers who found in Donetsk a platform to grow and shine in Europe. Former Shakhtar players have spoken about how comfortable he was working with young Brazilians and how clearly he understood how to integrate them into a structured system. That combination was classic Lucescu: freedom inside order, artistry inside discipline. He could appreciate flair, but he would not let flair become chaos. His best teams always carried that signature. They were expressive without being careless, and organized without being sterile. In an era when many coaches were forced to choose one side or the other, Lucescu often managed to hold both at once. His stature in Europe was confirmed again and again through longevity. In 2015, UEFA noted that Lucescu had become only the 5th coach to reach 100 matches in the UEFA Champions League proper, joining an elite group that included Sir Alex Ferguson, Carlo Ancelotti, Arsene Wenger, and Jose Mourinho. As of March 2026, UEFA's updated records still placed him among the small circle of coaches to have reached that landmark. That is an extraordinary measure of relevance across eras. It means he was not simply successful for a moment. He remained present at the highest level over many different seasons, with different squads, in different football climates. Lucescu was never the loudest personality in European football, and perhaps not the most fashionable one either. But he endured, and in football, endurance at the top is one of the clearest forms of greatness. It means your ideas continue to matter, even as the game keeps reinventing itself around you. After Shakhtar, he continued to move, to teach, and to compete. He coached Zenit St. Petersburg, then took charge of Turkey's national team from 2017 to 2019, adding yet another national football culture to his experience. Later, in 2020, he took over Dynamo Kyiv, Shakhtar's great Ukrainian rival, and once again demonstrated his ability to build quickly. In his very first season, Dynamo won a domestic treble, the League, the Cup, and the Super Cup, while also returning to the Champions League group stage. For many coaches, the later years are about protecting reputation. For Lucescu, they were still about work, still about proving, still about constructing teams. That was part of what made him so remarkable. He never seemed to lose his appetite for the daily process, the training session, the tactical detail, the conversation with players, the search for small advantages that eventually become big success. His final chapter brought him back to Romania. In 2024, he returned for a second spell as national team coach, decades after his first. It was an emotional and symbolic return, a veteran master coming home to serve his country once more. Under his guidance, Romania produced a strong Nations League campaign and reached the March 2026 playoff for a place at the World Cup. But that last mission was interrupted by illness. After falling sick during the team's preparations, Lucescu stepped down on April 2, 2026. The Romanian Federation noted that this ended his second term in charge, while also reminding the public that his first spell in the early 1980s had delivered Romania's first ever qualification for a European Championship finals. Even in departure, the arc of his life seemed complete. He began by changing Romanian football, and he ended by trying to lift it once more. But perhaps the reason Mircea Lucescu meant so much to so many people is that his legacy was never only about titles. The Romanian Football Federation, announcing his death, described him not just as a coach, but as a teacher of life for entire generations of players. That wording feels important. Coaches win matches. Teachers leave something deeper behind. Lucescu belonged to that second category. Players remembered not just the instructions but the standards. Not just the lineups but the lessons. He expected concentration, seriousness, and self-respect. He believed football intelligence could be developed. He believed young players needed both confidence and structure. And he believed that a team should reflect the values of the man leading it. In that sense, he was old school in the best possible way. He did not chase trends. He built principles, and he trusted them. That is why his influence outlived any single season or trophy. His story also matters because it connected different football worlds. Romania saw in him a captain, a national coach, and a symbol of ambition. Turkey saw in him a winner who conquered one of Europe's most intense leagues. Ukraine saw in him the architect of a modern powerhouse, and later, the man who won a domestic treble with Dynamo Kyiv after already becoming a legend at Shakhtar. Very few coaches are woven so deeply into the histories of multiple football cultures. That alone makes Lucescu unusual. He belonged somewhere, but he also belonged everywhere the game asked for intelligence and courage. He was a Romanian icon, yet his career was international in the fullest sense. He did not simply pass through countries collecting jobs. He left imprints. He changed trajectories. He raised standards. That is why his death feels larger than the loss of a former manager. It feels like the passing of a football era. So when people remember Mircea Lucescu, they will remember the trophies. Yes. They will remember Dinamo and Romania, Galatasaray and Beşiktaş, Shakhtar and Dynamo Kyiv. They will remember the UEFA Super Cup, the 2009 UEFA Cup, the long Champions League nights, and the years of relentless excellence. But they will also remember the man in a broader way. The sharp mind on the touchline, the teacher in the training ground, the builder who could see what a team might become before anyone else could see it. Football has many winners. It has fewer creators. Mircea Lucescu was one of the creators, and that is why, even after his final whistle, his work will continue to live on. In clubs he transformed, in players he shaped, and in the history of European football that he helped write over more than half a century. Rest in peace, Mircea Lucescu.